JM Race Engines is a new business in north central Missouri that have you covered from top to bottom for all your engine needs. Purpose-built engines with the correct amount of clearance will get you to the end of any show, whether it's your local shows or on the national level, where you can't be let down by your equipment. With top-level professional machine work to all engines, your choice of build is totally up to you. JM Race Engines will give you the confidence to push your equipment to the max while giving you your preferred horsepower to boot. From LS builds all the way to your exotic level small blocks that your imagination can only dream of, they have you covered.
But it doesn't stop there. They are also a speed shop that carries a variety of heads, carburetors, intakes, plug wires, helmets, and other safety equipment, and the best VP fuel on the market today to take you to the top. So if you're wanting mild build to wild build, let JM Race Engines help take you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hard Nosed Derby Podcast. Today's topic, Nazis.
Work Nazis.
100%.
Well, this does sound a little bit different for everybody out there. Steven is actually over the phone. It's not the first time. Probably won't be the last. Because he has work Nazis. Has to go to Arkansas. It's just rained like 42 inches this morning down there. And Steven's going to get to go operate a boat.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
Trimmer with an outrigger on it.
Something like that. Well, let's talk about it. You were in Nebraska.
Yes, sir. Cornhusker Chaos, Reckless Promotions. Logan and Jordan Dowley put on a banger of a show. Just banger.
Action started right off the bat Thursday night.
Yes. We had some buddies there, and we talked about that list, dude. You know, how the top-level national drivers were at this show, and a lot of them were running in the bone stock side of that heat, and seeing push their cars to the max on each other. Heat that's everybody watched. The team of Chris Collins against the team of 448 Designs of Jacob Priestman and John Mavis. All four cars were junk after the heat.
And not just a little bit junk.
A lot of junk.
And that's what everybody likes seeing. You know, these stocker-built cars, dude, they are junk after the heat. So you really get to see a builder build in this stuff.
Yes. Logan gives you could only have 2 plates to start fresh. Logan gave you 8 after the heat. So a lot of that you could fix. Some of it you had to kind of overlook and just roll with it.
You want to go over the list of winners, and then we'll kind of talk about how they got there?
Well, I just said 448 Designs. They took the win in the bone stock feature. John Mavis was the last one running. Team AK005, the team of Chris Collins and Matthew Fawcett, second. Team GHE Transmissions, third. Jarek Eddy, last one running for that team of him and Derek Court. Jarek had the unfortunate event, which I did talk to, I'm just going to say thanks right now. Got on with Steve at Derby Nation for a couple days while I was up there, and Team GHE had some unfortunate ass events. Brand new engine, started having a lower end knock on coming out of Tech in Derek Court. They had a backup engine that Jarek and Junior and their team brought. They had to put it in. Jarek had the fortunate event of, we're pretty sure tranny line got a pinhole in it, and pumped all the fluid out in the heat. So he was afraid he'd burn it up with no fluid, so they put a new one in there and had a really good car. Derek had to win the heat 2-on-1. It was not a very good car after that.
Man, but that heat, dude, wow.
Were you yelling at the television?
Oh, dude, you have no clue.
I felt sorry for that poor bastard because Derek cleared the left front on that, and I thought he wiped the entire left rail off.
Well, he did push it to where the driver's side rail was.
It looked pretty bad. It really did. But seeing what these guys do to these cars after the heats, like, you know, you and I had talked, Prusman and Mavis, their cars were hurt. Chris Collins was hurt. The team that Derek Court and Jarek Eddy ran against, those cars were trash. There was no ass on either of them. And seeing, you know, an old Iron Caddy going against, you know, Vic and a Lincoln, you wouldn't think that the Caddy would be as hurt as it was, but it was because of what he had to do.
Well, they weren't giving him an opportunity to back that car up, which is, I'm sure his game plan was in the heat.
Yeah, he didn't get to set the trump.
No. I mean, and they never gave him the opportunity because there was a few times I was like, man, that motor's getting hot, but he's going to have to use it to try to finish this up.
Yes.
And he did.
He did. I
will tell you, on the bone stock side of things, that top 5 looked almost the exact way I thought it was going to look at the end.
To start, I would have probably agreed with you, but after seeing these cars after the heat, I wouldn't have kept my same choice. There was.
Well, I mean, I'm talking pound for pound, blind going into it. Not saying in any particular order, but like that's where I thought, you know, stuff was going to end up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, because Chad Markley and Russ Mollering, they came out of their heat. They had one of those luck of the draws. One guy lost suspension really fast, thanks to Chad, and the other guy had a motor delete kit in, and their cars, I mean, hell, there was fenders barely wrinkled. You know, and you had a buy team as well. They got to come in with some Carandas. So these guys were just... there were so many cars that looked so good after the heats. I kind of figured those would overcome the hurt cars from the heat, and that especially had to run through the Consi. Jacob Prusman and John Mavis had to go through the Consi. Holy shit.
Buddy, I'm telling you, after all these national level shows and stuff, I bet more on a driver than I do a car any day.
Yep. And right now, 5X has got a horseshoe crawling right up his ass.
He's got a 4-leaf clover he carries with him, a rabbit's foot, and I'm pretty sure he pissed his horseshoes.
Yeah, he has, without a doubt, the last 6 months, man, has he cashed some checks.
The year that guy's had already.
Yeah, that's not even carrying over from the fall.
Right.
So the year he's had already is what a lot of guys or a lot of teams, you know, get in a career. And he's done it in 4 months.
I mean, hats off to him, man.
Yep.
Killing it.
Yep. Just driving the cost of HDs up. That's all he's doing. The mod heat one and done feature was nasty as hell too. It came down to, of course, Chicken of Team Kansas and David Earl of Team CPI. That was 1 and 2. The compacts, I'm not gonna lie, I have forgotten the compacts, but they got nasty with it.
Starting to sound like me.
I was working, not as a street corner worker or nothing, but back in the pits. And then, like I said, the privilege that I got to get up with Steve in the trailer, and Tony and Luke and Jace, and do a couple days of coverage with DerbyNation.tv. Super appreciative of that. Seeing the behind the scenes of stuff that, when you're watching pay-per-views all the time, you're not seeing those behind the scenes. And then when you actually get to step in there and really pay attention, that shit will blow your mind. What they're all doing, the multiple hats that they all wear. Nobody's just got one job. One person has 3 or 4. And they handle it very well.
Dude, and the product they kick out, everybody knows what it is. I mean, so it's not a big kicker or, huge surprise that they are just busting ass behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I actually found the Compact Team A feature winners.
Good boy.
Yeah. RPM Redemption 2.0.
That is right. Oh, I cannot believe I forgot that. Ethan Beamer and Cody Knuth, both of them in compacts. They did have another guy. I cannot remember his name. He had the unfortunate event. I think he lost CV axles really early in that show. But you talk about guys who are wide open in mod cars and whatever. You put them dudes in a compact and they're driving them fuckers the exact same way. Wide open, super calculating, just deleting front ends, deleting axles and wheels and steering components on them things. But they used their head doing it. They didn't have any stupid dumb shots, like that you can kind of get away with in like a really heavy built mod car.
Right.
They were just so calculating with them.
Man, let's talk about that youth bone stock.
Which one? the full size?
The full size.
All those kids, I mean, whether it was in the full size or the youth, there was some people on the compact youth side that were, they gave them all the track. And we have talked about that, how big the track is up there. And they gave them all the real estate, and oh my God.
They used it.
They used every inch of it, and in the same way in the big cars as well. I mean, those kids are hauling an immense amount of ass, and I don't think all of them were quite ready for that, but you could definitely tell the ones who were.
Well, and it showed by the podiums.
Yeah. You got that list still in front of you?
Oh, yeah. Tucker Deering, Brock Anderson, Tori Christensen, Peyton Smith is a mad dog.
Well deserved.
Yes, very much so. Used all of that car.
It's fun to go out and watch some kids just junk shit.
Yes.
Like, they have no intention of ever running it again, so let's just get it on and just send them right now.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Yep.
What was your favorite part? You knew it was coming.
I did. The light weld heats started off very slow on Thursday. They ran them first. And then business really picked up. The bone stock heats were wild as shit on some of them, and some of them not so much. So each one of them had their good and their bad. Dude. The trucks got rowdy as shit. The youth kids got rowdy. Light weld feature was really good too.
I mean, and congratulations to Team Ass Kickers.
Yes. I'm not sure if very many people know, but Chris Williams ran in the limited weld singles class on Friday. He ended up getting the win, and that was actually the raffle car from Madison left over. Tanner Workhoven got hurt. Not sure if it was on Thursday while they were running or Friday while they were working on it. I got told he broke his wrist. So Chris Williams actually stepped in and drove Tanner's car. And drive it he did. Him and Zach worked really good together. And to my knowledge, I don't think those guys have ever ran on a team setting together.
Well, it didn't look like that.
No, I mean, it looked like they had been running together for years. So when you come back and I'm sitting here thinking about my favorite part, dude, I'm just gonna have to say overall heats on Thursday night. There was 3 classes of heats on Thursday night, and I'm just gonna have to say Thursday night was the most exciting for me.
I got you. What was your thoughts on the overall? Was there anything that you seen that needed to be improved or changed or anything?
The track started out a little rough. It was.
I saw that. You can see that on the TV.
Yeah, I mean, on Wednesday it was 85 degrees and windy. Thursday, show day, it was when I got there it was about 78 degrees with about a 408 mile an hour wind. They did everything they could, and it got better. You didn't see a bunch of cars getting buried like you did last year, but it was a little rough and a little choppy. But them guys, they clear the track so fast. Their operators are on it. The water truck guys. I think the only complaint that anybody's going to have is the 2 hour and 10 minute bone stock feature. But the problem with that is that's the feature. That's bone stock. That is a bunch of hurt shit trying to get past the attrition and the abuse that they have put on their cars. Some of these guys put them on a lot of abuse for two days with 3 runs. You know, your heat on Thursday, your consi on Friday, and then Logan changed his rule, or he changed what he was going to do. He told him, he's like, you guys run these things hard enough in the heat. He's like, if you get through the consi, I'm going to let you have them all night long, which they weren't supposed to get them back until 7 in the morning. There was just so much hurt shit. Trannies, I mean, the Overly, they were doing tranny swaps. Derek Court did a motor swap plus a head gasket swap. Jarek, the same way. Dude, the only thing, that's my only deal. I think the only thing that you can make it better is if that bone stock was an hour instead of the 2 hours, but
it's so hard to do that. We've talked about it because nobody likes the big drawn out features and stuff, but at a certain point you got to be sympathetic toward the cause, you know what I mean?
Correct. And the build
do you want to see shit bend and them have to slow the pace down a little bit in the feature, or do you want to see dumpsters hitting each other and wheels falling off, and that's how they go out?
Correct. You and I talked on earlier, and I got to catch up with Chris Collins. Chris is a great dude, good guy of the sport. John Mavis was pitted right next to us. The drawing happened, right at the driver's meeting. Chris drew 448 designs. And I asked John, I said, dude, I was like, seriously? He's like, yep. He said, Chris drew that, and he said, I drove 7 hours to go derby against somebody I could have done an hour from the house. And Chris said the same thing, and they did. They abused those cars. They used every inch of those cars. And seeing what those guys did, especially to get it down to the end like that, I talked to Chris after the feature, and he was like, dude, he's like, I'm sorry I had to drive like that. He's like, I hate driving like that. He's like, and I told him, I said, Chris, you ain't got to apologize to nobody, dude, because your car was a pile of shit after the heat. And he started laughing. And, I mean, it was really a pile of shit when it went into the feature, So what these guys are having to work with I mean, as a consumer, I can say, yeah, it was a 2 hour and 10-minute feature, but there was a lot of high points in that feature. Jared Hinkle I thought, well, you know, him and his partner, Derek Stevens, for Hinkle Trucking, I looked at Hinkle and I was like, leave it to you to be the first one to go full tilt retard right off the rip. He was like, well, God damn it, I was trying to be patient. And he said, the next thing I know, this old boy come and he fed it to me once. And he said he was going to feed it to me again. So I said, no, we're not playing this game. You know,
one thing that I think everybody likes seeing with the Chris Collins and Mavis deal is you get to see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, understand that they go down the road and run against each other.
Yeah, when they could do it from the house, but we've
Right.
seen them do it at Blizzard Bash. We've seen them do it at now Cornhusker Chaos. Yeah, you know. So when you ask me what can change, man, I don't think I think we're on the same page of, you know, running for the cause. I don't think these guys are going to go out there and just junk their shit in 30 minutes. I mean, hell, we've seen mod Blizzard Bash heats last that long, damn near. We definitely see Mayhem last that long. You know,
Yeah,
so
let's not talk about that.
Josh has got a twitch because of that. And then, you know, so a 2 hour feature on a bone stock is not that big of a deal, I don't think.
I don't either. I don't think so. I don't think so even a little bit. The organization that those dudes have is, I mean, just seems to be second to none. At least looking from the consumer side. I don't know how it was, you know, in real time, but it looked great on the camera side. 4
telehandlers, skid steers out the ass. That's the fastest show I've ever seen get cars of that amount of cars cleared off in that short of a time frame. His crew are on it, man. Overall, I think the show was a really good show. I just don't think there's anything that he really needs to change or adjust. But I mean, you might be able to get rid of a class, but the trucks put on a hell of a show. The mods, they had a good car count for the mods. You know, there's probably 14 or 15 mods that flat got it on. You know, you had Sonny Worth up there and Noah Sarnes, Cody Knuth, and of course Chicken and David Earl. I mean, you know, you had some real good Levi Markley. You had some really good drivers up there.
The fucking heavy hitters, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was all the names of the mod side that you know.
Yep.
I love going back and looking at some of the comments, you know, that you see on post and whatnot. And there's always a comment of somebody being like 5X bagged. You know, he's a disgrace to Derby. And you know how to fix that, right?
Come build one and make him not do it.
Yeah, and he's going to dog walk your ass every time.
Promise you. Everybody in this world knows how good Chris Collins is. Everybody in this world knows how good John Mavis is. And when you put them two on the track at the same time, in a one-on-one situation, because, you know, Prusman and then Matthew Fawcett got timed out. So it was those two guys with hurt cars. And if anybody said that is sandbagging, they can suck mine from the back. The whole part.
It blows my mind that that's where people still are with all of it. Yes, have I been to shows and got frustrated with how somebody was driving? Never to the point that I had to put it on the internet, though.
Bingo. Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think it's probably a little bit of jealousy, and I think it's some butt hurtness.
Well, and you see that with a lot of people that their names roll across a lot, you know, and Anymore, I used to say, well, it seems like we're talking about the same people every week. It's not anymore. So I guess you see it across the whole sport that if you're winning, somebody's hating.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, what's that famous saying? Their name's still in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
No matter if it's good or bad, what you did, I guarantee you his bank head didn't ask him how he drove. Well, dude, here's the thing. Like I said, really good show. Really good show. It really is. Logan, like I said, Logan and his crew, super good dudes. Jordan has got his ass lined out. They're a very good team together. And then the team that they have behind them with all the techs and the crews and the support, really killer. He did give us a heads up that 2026 might not be in Kearney next year if it happens. I didn't hear word of where it could go or where it might be going. So that's something that we're going to have to keep our kind of eyes and ears open about. I'm sure probably middle of summer it'll get announced a little bit once Logan kind of gets some stuff lined out on his end.
I'm going to kiss their ass just a touch right here. But their time management and sticking to their agenda was amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, in my opinion, it was just crazy to me because they put a lot of cars across the track in a very short amount of time.
And they put a lot of cars across inspection lines in that short amount of time. Holy shit.
I love seeing that because that means that what they're doing is working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you are correct. I did talk to Logan. He told me, he said got a little fucking retarded. There were some guys that were really trying to push the stuff, maybe not as to the point where what he told us the other day about it. But a lot of guys were really reaching and stretching for those gray areas and interpretation. And a few with the blatant cheating, but nobody got loaded. He said that. Nobody got loaded. Everybody was willing to cut. It wasn't a complete, argument. Somebody tried to explain a little bit of this, and they kind of hashed it out a little bit. And he just said he didn't really have to even really be a dickhead about any of the situations. It was just kind of like, here's what you got to do. If you want to do it, great. If you don't, well, that's on you. But yeah, nobody loaded. Everybody worked with him. He worked with everybody else. Got the resolutions that needed to be done, and everybody went out and put on the track.
That is what I like to hear. That's progress, in my opinion.
Very, very, very much so.
So let's jump back to you getting to kick it with the DTV guys.
Well, as everybody knows, they're a great sponsor for us, and we're a sponsor for them too. So it's been a couple months ago, and Steve and I were kind of messaging back and forth, and we were going to get Steve lined up to get over the phone. But then I kind of decided, over the phone is okay, but I'd rather get the stuff in person. The same as you. It's way easier for you to sit right next to me than it is through a microphone, through a cell phone. So, we had kind of talked to get over there and try to get Luke and CJ, the couple of the guys from the Derby Build side, plus Mark and Steve, and just do it all at once. So we just kind of talked a little bit, and so we just did it. We just did it. Not my first rodeo, definitely not Steve's first rodeo. Steve is just so knowledgeable. All the derbies that, I've been to a shitload of derbies, so have you, but when he's done it for as long as he has done it, on the East Coast, the knowledge, whether it's from a Chevy Corsica to a roundback wagon, his input is just cool. And then just sit there and just kind of take all that shit in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and we talk about it all the time. The opportunities that this podcast has given us is almost surreal.
Yes.
Because how many years have we been? I mean, like, we knew those guys and we knew of them, but have been sitting in your living room or wherever watching them.
Yep.
And now we get to go kick it with them and jump on and talk and do some shit with it. It's badass what opportunities and doors that this has opened.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize, because I actually didn't realize it until Thursday night or Friday morning. I had to send a text. Thursday's episode was actually episode 150. And when that was posted, I thought it was 149. I lost count. So, that's what kills me is you think back that's 150 episodes. So that's 150 weeks. That's 150 weeks of not missing an episode. So, whether it's
whenever you talk about that, I mean, I don't know that people grasp what goes on, because I've recorded an episode while I was in the hospital while my mother was having a triple bypass.
Yep.
We have divided and conquered, power outages, blizzards, you name it, dude. And we have done it. We've been there and dedicated ourselves to, doing this.
150 weeks of bullshit.
Most of the time, it's a blast.
It is.
Sometimes it's not.
I'm not
because
saying
I can tell you right now, while I was in the hospital, I didn't really want to be doing that.
Correct. That was not fun times.
Hell, I recorded an episode while you were in the hospital.
Yep. Yeah.
With COVID.
Yep. Got out and tried to talk to you over the phone, and I don't know if you could hear or understand what I was saying, but we still did.
Yeah. Right. And I don't know. It's crazy the reward that has come from it, I guess. And we have to sit here and thank everybody for listening, because that's the drive that keeps us doing it.
That's right. DerbyNation.tv is your one-stop shop for your Demolition Derby pay-per-view needs. With a schedule like no other, you can catch all the shows you want to watch at the touch of a button from the comfort of your living room without leaving your house. But pay-per-view derbies aren't the only thing that they can get you. You can also carry a monthly subscription to watch the ever-growing Derby Builds, where you get all the behind-the-scenes action on different build processes with the Derby Builds team, including team show cars and even some national-level youth builds.
And if you can't make it to that big show in person, go ahead, host that shop watch party, and let DerbyNation.tv bring excitement of Demolition Derby action straight to your shop live on your TV.
Well, dude, a lot of people know that I do stuff by memory. Last year, I completely forgot about Bash for Cash with our schedule. I almost forgot about another one that is actually next on the national level radar in 2 weeks. River City Rampage, Toast Promotions, moving from Illinois to Terre Haute, Indiana. You can get on Toast Promotions. We're not going to hit this, but go look at that driver's list for that single bone stock show that he's having. Holy shit.
Dude, that show is ridiculous every year. And I don't know how we end up overlooking it because, well, and I do know how it happened because whenever we were promoting, it was the same weekend almost every year.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm thinking in 2026, I'm going to actually have to step in with the city and try to adjust my dad's tournament, either a week before or a week after. The last 3 years, it has been on the May 3rd weekend, which hits dead on River City Rampage, and it gets really close to the start of the Southern Number 9 Memorial Tour, which is Griggsville first show for them on May 3rd as well. Dude, PJ Snar, Adam Lemonadger, Colt Doyle, Gage Sumner, Cordell Hansen, Mike Patton. The list keeps going and going and going for this.
Just think about who you talked about right there and the amount of hours they've been in the shop already this year.
And then the amount of hours that they're going to use to work on their cars, because after their heats, they get them all night long, and they all stay up.
Yeah, and they don't sleep at all.
None. Zero.
I'm out on that.
Twice. Twice. Dude, while I got you on here, man, let's just jump onto that, Southern Number 9 stuff. We know what it's all ramping up to be. It's ramping up for the Terry show. Griggsville, we went last year. Hell of a show.
I had a blast. I always have fun every time I go to Griggsville. Every time.
Well, I know the time you went before me, you bought or tried to buy like an 8-foot fucking corn cob or something.
Yeah, I was wasted. And I mean wasted.
How are we going to get that fucker home?
I was going to strap it on top of that Yukon. I shit you not.
But I know there's a lot of guys that that kind of has me on Snapchat or whatever. They're getting their stuff ready for that. Hell, it's just, 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
As soon as I get done playing golf, I don't know if you're going to be home to head that direction or what you have planned for that, but I'm sending my kid with my car. As soon as he gets there and that tournament is over, he is taking my truck and trailer and golf cart back to the house, and I'm heading to Illinois. We should. Well, we are. Go this week, pick up our new batch of hats. So we will have those in stock. We're going to have some shirts. I'm not sure when we're supposed to have those. They're in the getting made process as we speak, I believe. So if we have them before then, we'll bring them with us. If not, we will have them at Border Wars, which is the next big show that we'll be partaking in. I can't never include you because I never know.
Well, that makes two of us. And I do want to go ahead and speak on one other thing while we're on the subject of merchandise and whatnot. People do not forget that we have a raffle going on for one clean ass square body wagon.
Put a fuel pump in it and it's a driver. That's the only thing. I'm sorry, it's missing 2 wheel covers.
I bet I can come. If that's a deal breaker, I bet I can come up with that.
The bigger center caps, and it is miss. The fuel pump is out of it for the intake pump. But other than that, that's fuel pump, and you can drive it.
It is so clean.
And we haven't really touched on that other than the Facebook post. A lot of guys have asked us where it's at. Mr. Derek Court, which we've said, a very close friend of ours, he knows the struggles of having to travel to do this stuff. So he was like, guys, this is something I'm never going to run. I got it. I got it for a good price. I want to donate it to you guys to Waffle Off. All proceeds are going to go, you're going to keep everything. They've got 1 year to pick it up. It is in Carlsbad, New Mexico. I am going to say that. But there's a gentleman by the name of Jared Hinkle that owns a semi company, and he usually goes down there about 3 or 4 times a year and hauls cars back. So we have probably a way of getting it back up here. So don't let that deter you guys from buying spots.
Well, and I have it completely ruled out driving down there this winter and grabbing it anyway.
I kind of had that feeling of if you actually do get laid off, maybe keep the babies with Gigi for a few days and you and Mama take off on a Friday morning and just kind of make a little mini vacay out of it or something like that.
That tis the game plan.
And if you can catch me, well, no, I'm kind of fucked because I only get 6 other days off out of the year, and those are all holidays. So I'm kind of hosed in that instance.
Right.
But when he says clean, there's pictures of it. That bitch is clean.
So if you are like from around us or anywhere really in between, don't be afraid to, talk it out, whatever. You've got a full year to get it.
Yep.
And make contact and set up some kind of pickup. You just have a year to arrange the pickup, I believe.
Yes. We announced that we were going to run it for a month, unlimited spots. So the more the merrier, please. And then when that one's done, we're going to have another one for you. We're not going to announce it quite yet. But it'll be something that kind of bolts or welds maybe on the front of some frame rails. If that gives you enough hint, I guess.
Right.
But it's not going to be one of them 100 spotters or nothing like that. That will be something that's kind of how the first one was with the Impact. And I see there's guys are wanting a little bit different, maybe the 3/8 driver. That could be something that we do as well. So, thanks for the support, man.
Dude, it's just unfathomable. Like, really. It's crazy to me.
It is crazy. Flat fucking crazy.
But, well, I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to put this bitch back in the wind.
You're going to be that guy?
I'm going to be that guy.
Well, do you got any last words?
Nope.
Cool, brother. Later.
Later.
Well, if y'all can see, we kind of figure out ways around hectic work schedules and stuff like that. So, again, Logan and Jordan of Reckless Promotions, thank you guys so much for having us up. DerbyNation.tv, Steve and Luke and Tony and Mark and their whole crew. The hospitality is awesome, and it was killer to watch as many pay-per-view derbies that I have watched in the last probably 6 or 7 years, and then get the opportunity to talk a few nights with Steve. That I applaud you, sir, because that has been something that I've kind of been looking forward to. We've got to do the full contact derby TV stuff out in Utah, but that's a little bit different. Not on the scale that Derby Nation has got going on. Remember, guys, for all your door wraps and roof signs, broadhead decals, for all your hoodies, your shirts, whether it's a team shirt, whether it's an individual shirt, Triple B's tees, JM Race Engines. Steven and I didn't hit on this. We are actually taking a trip next Saturday. We are delivering an engine, a brand new engine, up in Iowa that's going in the youth raffle car for Border Wars. Another gentleman reached out. They kind of needed a few bumpers, so we're taking an engine up, and then we're gonna meet a guy, donate a couple bumpers to the cause as well. And that is the next one on the list that we're actually going to on the national level. I've kind of heard some, what I would say, some not wanted news. Last year they had, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, and Illinois. I've heard some of the states have dropped out on the big side. I haven't got 100% confirmation on that. But it's still going to be a hell of a show. Even if they had just got 3 or 4 states, it's still the same format. Those guys actually, if you qualified for the feature last year in the Border Wars class, you picked your own heat for this year. Your drivers for your heat. So, say if Jarek Eddy made it through last year, which he did, he gets to pick 2 guys, handpicked who he's running with in the heat. Same way with Colton Newhofflin. What he did in the feature, he set himself up, and he can bring the 2 guys that he wants from Minnesota to run in his heat. So I know that list isn't out, but maybe we can get a little bit more confirmation when we do take that trip next Saturday. On a little bit more of that, of what's going on. We still have a full summer. We have local shows that we're gonna be hitting on too, and a few other things in the works. So if you guys just bear with us, take this ride. We appreciate everybody, what you guys have done for us, the support that you have given us to make all this stuff happen. From the bottom of our hearts, we do appreciate you. So, guys, until next time, make junk, boys.
Triple B's Tees offer custom shirts and logo designs for all your apparel and merchandise needs, offering a variety of shirts, hats, hoodies, tumblers, and koozies. Triple B's will work with you one-on-one to personalize and perfect your logo. With over 5 years in the business, 20 years in the sport, they live for Demolition Derby.
Chunk and his crew can bring your imagination to realization with 0 limitations. So for all your badass tees, choose Triple B's.
Since Justin has been on board with us at Hard Nose, we have figured out how much Broadhead Decals means to the sport of Demolition Derby. His great quality parts are seen from coast to coast and everywhere in between.
But he can do more than just Derby products. Your everyday business may need some pep in its step with new banners or stickers. And just give him an idea and let him run with it. Whether it's business related or just want to look badass in the winner circle, let Broadhead Decals work for you.
We do.